Do you overthink every text message or email? Do you feel more connected to animals than people? Or do group chats drain you like a long-distance marathon? We are diving, my friends, into social autism traits, specifically the ones that don't usually get talked about, but are incredibly common in adults diagnosed later in life. So let's go. Welcome, my stars of Orion. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Orion Kelly, that autistic guy. I'm all about providing validation and support for autistic people and their loved ones. Anxiety or autism? Here's 18 social traits of autism in adults. Number 1, struggling with group conversations. Okay, it's the day, the age, the era of the group chat. I hate them. Chaotic, useless pieces. People talk over each other. People switch topics quickly. Inside jokes. And you're still back at the first point trying to respond. And, oh, okay, we've moved on. Great. It's overwhelming. It can make you feel left out. Even when you're right there in the group chat, as an autistic person, you can feel completely alienated, left out, left for dead. And that's because of number 2 of our social autism traits in adults. Delayed processing in social settings. In fact, delayed processing in general. But this is social autism traits, so we're sticking to delayed processing in social settings. Have you left a conversation and it's only afterwards, it could be minutes, hours, days later, you finally realize what you wanted to say or worked out what someone else really meant? This is not about being slow. This is about needing more time to process all the input we're taking in socially. Truth be told, for autistic people, it would be great if conversations could happen in advance before they happen. So, okay, guys, we're going to get together for a social gathering. I've got a few little tidbits I'd like to talk about, and here's my topic list. You think that's ridiculous? If you could provide that to autistic people prior to the party, I reckon it'd give them time to process things and feel like they've got something to contribute. Now you think, well, who cares? Well, exactly. Who does care? See, being able to contribute to conversations for autistic people actually is a good thing. It fills us with connectedness. It could fill us with passion, joy. It could just make us feel like we belong for a small little fraction of a second. Social trait number 3, having a flat or serious facial expression. So you may well be perfectly happy, relaxed, regulated, but people are constantly asking you, are you okay? Or are you upset? Are you angry? Why? Why? With the petty questions. Because autistic facial expressions don't always match the expected emotional cues. Some refer to this as the double empathy problem. In simple terms, when an autistic person is feeling regulated, or at peace, or unbothered, happy, whatever helps you, we might not look the way you want us to look. An autistic person who is regulated and at peace isn't going to walk around. I'm so regulated and at peace right now. Good to see you guys. Hey, Jim, welcome back. My face is going to be resting autistic face, which is, in effect, you look at me and go, you know what? I could roll a dice and I wouldn't really know how. Let me guess. Upset? No, okay. Angry? Okay, no. Sad? Happy? Just tell me, Orion. I'm glad you asked. Empty. Empty. Bottom line is neurotypical people expect facial expressions and body language to match how you are feeling inside. Autistic people may not even consider that, let alone have the ability to convey through their body language and our facial expressions how we're feeling on the inside. That's the disconnect, the double empathy problem. Number 4, being hyperliteral. Sarcasm, irony, vague language. These things can fly under the radar for autistic people. They sometimes can hit really hard. For example, if someone says, "Don't be late," I'm thinking, do they think I'm always late? Are they angry at me for being late? Were they joking? Were they serious? Should I apologize? See, clarity matters. Yes, autistic people can, in general terms, be hyperliteral. We take what you say as you said it. In other words, we think you say what you mean and mean what you say in a literal sense. Of course, neurotypical people very rarely mean what they say or say what they mean because you're just a bunch of deceiving, conniving criminals. That's a joke. Don't take it literally. What I'm saying is our brain is automatically going to hear what you say, take it literally. But then I would argue too that the autistic brain, frankly, is more tipped to a negative lens. So if you say, I really like that shirt, my brain's going to say, they don't like my shirt and they're making fun of me. It would never occur to my brain you're being sincere. So we'll take things literally, but then our brain can also take that literal thought through your mouth and put it through our lens, and it comes out completely different. So clear, explicit language, clarity is key. Social autism trait number 5 is a preference for written communication over verbal. So many autistic adults find texting or email easier than phone calls or face-to-face chats. Written words give us time to think and to process without the pressure of real-time responses. Now, I know what you're thinking, because I have abilities. That's right, telepathy. Haven't you heard forget about it. What I'm saying is, you're thinking, Orion, before, didn't you say, don't you hate texts and emails as like an insight into autistic people? What I'm saying is, I would prefer to text or email you every day of the week if it meant I didn't have to have a phone call or a FaceTime or whatever, every day of the week, okay? But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to study your text and my reply text word for word over and over 1,000 times, read it 1,000 times, send it, then read it another 1,000 times like I'm reading it as you, and then read both texts as if I'm experiencing it as both. And this is why it's so complicated. The bottom line is, written words, although the autistic brain will still never let things go. We have to constantly rejudge and judge and judge and judge. The bottom line is, from my point of view, I think being able to process things. So you ask me a question face to face, I'm under pressure to give you an answer. Okay, if you text me or email me, I have time to stop, to read it as many times as I need, to process it, to understand it, to even run it by other people before I can respond. So that lack of pressure and significant time and space to process and provide a response that's frankly good for both parties, I think is why we just absolutely love written communication over verbal communication. Number 6, social exhaustion feels physical. It's not just emotional fatigue, mental fatigue. It's actually bodily fatigue. After social interactions, and I don't mean bad ones, even good ones, we can feel like we have to just sleep forever, right? A nap, best case scenario. A complete sensory detox. Total silence for the rest of the day. Yes, we may take a vow of silence, disappear from the family, and wake up next week. Social trait number 7 is a difficulty knowing when to speak or to stop speaking. No, you don't know autistic people who don't know when to speak or stop speaking. Come on. We might interrupt without meaning to. We might over-explain something because we're actually just trying to be clear. We're trying to help you understand. We're giving you what we want from you. Maybe we talk too much about our special interests, our passions. Maybe it takes us a while to realize everyone has already mentally checked out before it kind of, oh, okay, I feel like I'm still going here, but no one's here. Where did they go? This is core autism, guys. Remember, communication and interaction challenges are a major part of the diagnostic criteria. And this is one of the ways they manifest. Why don't you know that you should stop now? You've hogged the conversation, in some people's words. Well, this is clearly a challenge based on understanding the room, the people, understanding verbal cues, non-verbal cues, body language, the things that you might send to people that tell them, oh, they want to stop talking now, they want to go. This is not the things that we pick up on. Now, we would pick up on it if you said, actually, Orion, sorry, I'm really enjoying this conversation and I want to hear more, but I've got to keep moving around the room and chat to a few other people. So can I come back and we can finish this later? I hear that. I get that. Cool. No worries. But then if you were just doing it through your verbal body or your facial expressions, these kind of cues and signals, I don't know what I think might be happening with you. Maybe you ate some dirt and got worms. Like just have a tablet. They taste like chocolate. They're great. And not that I know. I'm just saying that's the core difference. So not only do I not know when I get a go or when I should jump in here, or someone said something to me, asked me a question, but I wasn't interested in talking, so I didn't realize I was even supposed to start talking now. It's no different to when I start going and I'm supposed to go, oh, they want to hear more, or they're bored. No, this isn't about, we don't care what you think, we just want to talk about our passions. No, absolutely not. This is about us simply not being able to pick up on the signals you would usually send. Now, we give you more information and we talk for too long. Why is that? Because we give you what we want you to give us, yet you never realize that. Is it at all possible you could go, hang on, why do they always over-explain everything, these autistic people? They're always over-explaining, giving us all the information, giving us backup information, clarifying every little detail. Why do they do that? Because that would be great if you could do that for us. It'd clean up a lot of issues. Number 8, feeling emotionally out of sync. Now, you might struggle to respond to other people's emotions in expected ways, neurotypically expected ways. Not because you don't care, but because you're actually trying to calculate what the right response is. See, this doesn't often come naturally. As autistic people, we are constantly judged as uncaring, unfeeling, lacking of empathy. Now, of course, everyone's different, but in general terms, that's just not true. It just isn't true. Often, autistic people can experience emotions or can experience empathy towards others at a hyper level, a level that a lot of neurotypical people wouldn't experience. In fact, sometimes I can find it overwhelming. I see a situation involving an animal or a child or a person of some description that I would never have thought would have got me. And I see them in a situation and I feel so deeply hurt or sad or upset for them. I don't know them or any of the situation. I almost can't recover. It takes me time. I'm overwhelmed. It's a horrible feeling, but I can't stop it. Let's talk about the way autistic people experience emotions. It's a really quick story, by the way. Differently. See, we have a different brain, an autistic brain. We can't experience the world neurotypically. Is this something that will ever sink in? We can't experience the world neurotypically because we have an autistic brain. Alexithymia or alexithymia or whatever people want to say. I don't know how to say it. Anyway, it's basically this challenge of not experiencing and feeling. It's this challenge of identifying and conveying our emotions, or identifying the emotions of others and conveying to them we understand what they're feeling. It doesn't mean we're not feeling something. So emotionally out of sync is an issue socially because people will see us in a situation and if we can't identify it or pick it up or convey it properly, they're going to think heartless, don't care, emotionless, uncaring. And this is, I promise you, simply not correct. Social trait number 9 is a preference for friendships that center around shared interests. Not our interests, shared interests. You like that? I like that. Autistic people often struggle with neurotypical hanging out, neurotypical friendships. Just doing stuff, chilling out, going with the flow. See, we thrive in relationships that are more built around our passions, our interests, our common preferences, loves, common goals even. A good example is people that have D&D groups, like Dungeons and Dragons groups. People might have music groups, fashion groups, art groups, gaming groups, anime groups, right? It's a small group of people who love what they love, who have a shared passion and love. And that is their version of socializing Autistic people could just thrive and live off their own time, their own life, and semi-regular catch-ups with a group of friends who are passionate about the same thing. It's a different world, I get it, but you have to acknowledge that makes sense. If we are ultimately thriving on regulating ourselves by alone time and our special interests, it would make sense when we do leave all that, we would spend time with a select group of people who share the same passion or passions as us. There's a predictability in that too, which is absolutely crucial for autistic people. Number 10, are you more comfortable with animals or kids? Maybe you love older adults. Animals don't judge you. Animals don't judge your tone, your look, your vibe. Kids judge you. No question about that. But you know what they don't? They don't expect complex social interactions. They don't expect you to uphold the complex social fabric of the world. They just want to have a peaceful, fun time. And older adults, I want to talk about this. Do you find that autistic children in your life may have better relationships with their grandparents or simply older relatives than you? You're their parent, you're their carer, you're a brother or sister or a relative. I relate to this strongly. As a child, I utterly loved spending time with my nan and pop. Now, I also loved spending time with older people. Like you would class them when I'm a child as elderly people. They're forgiving. They're straightforward. They're patient. If you've ever felt more comfortable around them, older people, than your own peer group, then you now have discovered an insight that I can deeply relate to. In fact, it may make sense that all autistic people should be raised by their grandparents. I mean, it would make life easier for me, I'm telling you. Number 11, anxiety around new people or places. Meeting new people. It's not that we don't want to do it, it's that we just don't want to do it. Going to new places. This kind of stuff is legitimately anxiety inducing. Now, this is not because we're shy. People think, oh, autistic people are so shy. It's not that we're shy, it's that we're protective of our own peace and regulation. And there's no proof, there's no history, there's no ability to say, oh, this person is safe and cool, or this place is safe, sensory safe. It's just friendly. I like this place. If it's a new place or a new person, we have no track record. So although, yeah, sure, we're shy or closed off, or we have to take time, you might hear this a lot. Oh, they just take time to warm up. What are they, defrosting? Did you keep them in the freezer? Don't keep your autistic child in the freezer. They shouldn't have time to warm up. They're not warming up. You're cooling down. That's what's happening. It's the crazy new person that's going nuts, over the top, acting like a primary school teacher. You need to cool down. I'm not warming up. You're cooling down. We don't know the dynamic of new people and new places. We don't understand the rules all the time with every new person. The social norms, they're not automatic for autistic people. And it seems like all the rules and norms alter depending on the person or place you go to. What kind of world are we living in? Social trait number 12 is rehearsing conversations before and after. How can you rehearse after? Okay, if I know I've got a phone call or a conversation, I mixed the word confrontation with conversation because that's what it is. If I have a phone call or a conversation, I'm going to think about it. Yeah, I'm going to go over it. As autistic people, I find we rehearse just about everything. What am I going to say? What do you think they'll say? If I had a conversation, it's happened, it doesn't end there. I'm going to replay it in my head hundreds of times. I'm going to think, did I say the right thing? What did I say? Was that wrong? Did I overshare? Did I say too much? Did I offend them? This is not even overthinking. This is literally autistic scripting. It's bloody exhausting, but it's absolutely, for me, day-to-day life. And to be clear, rehearsing, conversations, meetings, get-togethers, phone calls, things like that are coming up, that's core number one. Because we want to have some sort of idea or control over how it's going to go. Now, you will know we can't do that. We can rehearse what we're going to say, but any of that can be derailed in 10 seconds. But the brain won't stop. The autistic brain doesn't care. The autistic brain wants, this is how it's going to go. Now, I could be sitting in the toilet and verbally, out loud, having a conversation with someone as a rehearsal, going through it. Oh, I could say this, say that, do this, do that. Now, it never happens like that, but I don't ever have the ability to stop doing that. Now, number two, which is even worse in my opinion, is you think you can't rehearse after. You can, because I'll go over conversations, interactions, in a way where I guess I'm trying to make it better. I'm reinventing the past and rehearsing it in a way where it'll be better next time. And I wish my brain could turn that off. Don't you hate when you lay down in bed and you're about to go to sleep and then an interaction you had, a conversation, something just starts going through again, and it's horrifying. I don't think I've ever finished a conversation or an interaction with someone who isn't like just a regular safe person where I haven't finished that thinking they must hate me. I think I offended them. I think I said the wrong thing. I think I said too much. I was too autistic. Like, just that feeling alone. It's exhausting, but it's also pretty bloody debilitating. Number 13, not understanding physical greeting norms. How about a hug, handshake, kiss on the cheek? I don't instinctively, is that the right word? Instinctively? I don't instinctively know what's expected. Half the time, it doesn't even occur to me that I should be initiating that or doing any of that. Now, in general, that's hard. In relationships, that's even trickier. When we communicate openly about what feels okay and what doesn't, that tends to be the most workable solution. In other words, parents, carers, partners, friends, family of autistic people could convey to others, you don't need to hug, blah. But if you'd like to, you could. Or would you like to give them a handshake? It's up to you. Or you could tell the person, do me a favor when we come over, don't hug them or kiss them unless they do it to you first. I guess it's a bit like the Disney rule. I don't know. Wait for them to hug you and don't let go until they let go. But honestly, autistic people can just say, I'm really sorry, but I'm not a hugger. This is okay, but I don't really want to do the handshake or the hug or the kiss. But the problem is, it's always left on us. Okay, so cool. So we can say that, oh, I'm not a hug guy. Honestly, I think most of the times I'd rather just do it than tell you I don't want to do it, because automatically I think you think I don't like you. And I think that you automatically feel offended and taken aback. He wouldn't hug me. Now, when you think about it, it's so arbitrary. Like, we greet each other and we have to physically touch. It's such an arbitrary thing, right? We can't just say, great to see you. Isn't that warm too? It's one of those things. This is a really hard thing to navigate as an autistic person. These physical greeting norms, it's ridiculous. There's rules to physical greeting, kisses on the cheeks, touches, blah, blah. It's just not necessary. And it's okay to do it, but it's not okay to force it upon people. You can't make an autistic kid hug a grandparent because that's what they do. We've got to get past this. Social trait number 14. Do you stick close to your safe person pretty much everywhere socially? Whether it's parties, family gatherings, it doesn't matter where you are. If you're away from your safe place, are you basically joined at the hip, glued to your safe person? For me, usually it's my wife, or I'll hang out with my own kids, or the pets at home. Anywhere I can go where I don't have to deal with small talk or weird, painful, unpredictable scenarios. Number 15 is, do people think you're always arguing with them, but you know you're absolutely not? This one drives me nuts. It really does. Oh my God. People are always saying, why are you being so argumentative? Like, why do you always have to argue with me? I always say, this is not an argument. I'm not arguing with you. I know what an argument is, and this is not an argument. I'm literally just stating facts here. I'm not angry. I'm not trying to debate you. To me, this isn't a debate. This isn't an argument. This is talking. I might as well speak a different language when I say that to someone. They're like, what do you mean? What do you mean we're just talking? We're not just talking. We're fighting. We're arguing. We're debating. You're picking every little thing. As an autistic person, this is how we're obviously perceived. But I'm telling you right now, it's not the truth. It isn't the truth. I can absolutely argue or debate someone. Do I want to? No. See, when we're talking to someone, we are going to have, oh, actually, that's wrong. We're going to pick up things. Oh, no, that's actually not right, and here's why. Or, oh, here's the facts to that. Or, okay, well, that's one way to look at it, but this is so you see what I'm saying? Our mind isn't being argumentative. Our mind is doing what it does, is pointing out the things that we pick up on, which is you made a mistake there, or that's wrong, this is the truth, this is the real answer, this is how it's supposed to be. That might not make you feel good, but it, as a logical, autistic brain views things, that's just us talking to you. Bottom line is autistic people think arguing is talking. Neurotypical people think autistic people talking is arguing. Yeah, we're basically stuffed. We speak directly. We don't understand about softening our tone. People take it the wrong way. And we're the ones that are automatically labeled being argumentative. When in fact, we're talking to you as autistic people. Social trait number 16, do people laugh at things you say when you're actually not joking? This happens a lot. Yeah, people always ask, like my wife or me, sorry, is that a joke? Are you joking? Is he kidding? Because a lot of times I'll say something dead seriously and then people will absolutely cackle themselves, right? They will laugh out loud. A lot of times I'll say something, someone will laugh and I go, no, that wasn't a joke, I wasn't joking there. Like I'll say something, someone starts absolutely laughing out loud and I'll go, that wasn't a joke. No, I'm not kidding. This isn't a joke here. I'm not doing the humor. See, as autistic people, our tone doesn't often change. People either think everything we're saying is sarcastic, which I can get a lot, or bloody hilarious, or neither. It's actually just an autistic person talking. And frankly, this is the kind of stuff that really agitates me. When international production companies use autistic people as the fodder for content, right? They get autistic people and they make them the stars of a show and they make money off that. And it's successful. Why? Well, there's a few reasons, but the two core reasons are the neurotypical world, the wider audience, say number one, it's so pure and cute to see autistic people in the real world, right? Like we're not usually in the real world. And number two, I find them refreshingly funny. They're funny in a really honest, open way. So here's the thing. Autistic people are funny to the neurotypical world because what we say is so real, is so honest, is so straightforward that it makes you laugh. But see, that isn't humor. And you're not laughing because it's funny. You're laughing as a response that probably isn't even the most appropriate response. Because you've heard someone say something you'd never dare say. That's not even something it would even occur to you. To say something so pure, so open, so honest, so truthful. You're not allowed to do that. Neurotypical people don't think it's something they should do. No, you can't be vulnerable. You can't tell the truth. Autistic people naturally are just open and honest and says it like it is, shares what's on their mind. But that's not humor. That's not a stand-up routine. You see why it's frustrating to be constantly laughed at when you're not trying to be funny? It's also not acceptable to exploit people like that for entertainment. But that's a whole other kettle of fish. Not that I recommend putting fish in a kettle. You put water in a kettle, it boils and you make a drink, like a hot chocolate or a coffee or something. Why we're putting fish in a kettle and boiling them, I can only imagine there's some sort of boiled fish dish and that was the one way to get it done. But aside from that, don't ever put fish in your kettle. Your kettle is to boil water. Don't tell me you laughed at that, by the way, because that wasn't supposed to be funny. I was just telling you. Number 17, struggling to connect. Or do you find that others struggle to connect with you? Okay, so people just don't connect with you. People just don't get you. You're not on the same wavelength as most people. You don't know how to even connect with others. So people often will call you weird, quirky, different, just can't get a read on you. Really, it's just a mismatch. It's just a breakdown in communication styles. Neurotypical people, autistic people. See, neurotypical people often expect a certain rhythm or tone in conversations. Now, when they don't see that, they think something's wrong. They don't think it's just a different way of talking. No, it's a wrong way of talking. They expect to hear a song, and when you give them something that's like music they've never heard before, they think, whoa, scratch the record, what is this? This is not how songs are supposed to be made, right? This is not how we talk. Frankly, the core reason why autistic people and neurotypical people often feel like they can't connect, there's a disconnect, is actually both parties. right? Neurotypical way of doing things, autistic way of doing things, it's never going to connect, ever, until the neurotypical world can understand that we are different as opposed to we're doing it wrong. We're not doing it wrong, we're doing it differently. And the final social trait, number 18. Do you often get called rude, blunt, even unprofessional? Oh man, you're just too honest, Orion. Hey, you're not a team player, are you? I don't like your tone. See, autistic adults often get labeled all these things in the workplace unprofessional. And all they're doing is being themselves, being direct, being autistic. But we don't always get the tone required for you in your rules, in your standards. By the way, these are unspoken rules. Sure, we can be rude and blunt and unprofessional. Autistic people are humans. But autistic people, for the most part, aren't trying to be rude or blunt. We're certainly not trying to be unprofessional. We want money. We need jobs. But being autistic is a different way of not only experiencing the world, but interacting in the world. We're clearly not trying to be rude. We're trying to communicate. Now, workplaces or people, one, they're not set up in any way to understand that. And two, they're not set up in any way to accept that, to embrace that. This is a core issue for autistic people. These social traits can make life really tricky, but they also make sense when you understand how autistic people actually experience communication through a different lens. So if any of these signs hit close to home, maybe it's worth a deeper look. And to learn more, check out my playlist, Autistic Traits.